gentlemen, I'm glad to be here today. I want to tell you a little bit about myself because it shapes some of my ideas and some of the things I'm going to present to you today. I've lived in Japan for about 10 years, and I worked in a different industry, quite different than what I work in now. It was actually the automotive industry, so if any of you drive a Mazda, I've probably touched some part of that particular car. I lived in Japan for about 10 years. My wife's Japanese, my children are Japanese, I speak Japanese, and I loved working with the Japanese people. So speaking Japanese, actually it's kind of frustrating because my children are able to ignore me in 2 official languages. It just drives me crazy. But what I did do is in my time while working there, what I found is that the Japanese society is very closed, and it's very strict. In fact, they have a number of proverbs. One in particular says, "Dateru kugi ga utareru," which means a nail that sticks up gets hammered down. And yet we have Japanese companies that are copied, or they're North American companies try to copy Japanese companies. People try to copy Japanese idea systems in order to better their own companies. And I often wondered, well, why does that happen? Why does this closed society, what have they got right? And what they have is they have idea systems that absolutely place value on the human creative side. And I'm going to speak to you a little bit about that. And I'm going to throw out some ideas out there. Some of them might be a little radical. So I read some things in the paper a few weeks ago. Every web page, this is a pictorial rendition of the World Wide Web. Every web page is no more than 19 clicks away from any other web page. Now this is interesting because what it means is that you, me, anybody else has the ability to find an idea, understand an idea within 19 clicks, very, very fast. And it means that people that are growing up now, like my 14-year-old daughter, have the ability to go find an idea on anything that they want in a very short period of time. Now, how does that affect people like me? I'm almost 40 years old, and 14-year-old girls out there, like my daughter is. What it means is her age has nothing to do with her education, has nothing to do with her ability to generate or find ideas. In fact, if you go online, you can go and you can take some Ivy League courses for free. And not only that, you can share them with your friends through hundreds of different methods on the internet to share those. And so ideas are going to be generated and are generated at such a fast pace and shared at such a fast pace that we really are creators. We really are moving fast. Now, some of your companies or organizations that you work with will have a suggestion box. And when people put suggestions in a suggestion box, I want you to think about this, they are not putting in a suggestion, they are putting in themselves into that suggestion box. And when you ignore, or when you are ignored when you put in suggestions, what really happens is people are ignoring you. And that's part of the struggle that we'll have as ideas are able to be generated so quickly and people are able to move so quickly. So what I say is people do things and they create because they get a return. If ideas are a currency, and I believe that they are, and all worldly currencies that governments create will eventually fail. They have in the past and they will in the future. There's only one thing that remains, and that's human ingenuity. And if ideas are the new currency, you don't let currency sit in the bank and collect no interest and become less valuable. You put them out there and you expect a return. And so my thought is, a return on ideas is something that we must absolutely give to the people that invest when we in leadership positions are allowed to have those ideas given to us. In the past, employers have hired employees. In the future, ladies and gentlemen, this will be different. I personally have interviewed with companies, and I have sat there and I'm not going to work for this company because it doesn't allow me to do what I want to do. Taiichi Ono, who is a Japanese manufacturing guru, he said, unlike in the Chaplin movie where people are treated as parts of a machine, the ability to add your creative ideas and changes to your own work is what makes it possible to do work that is worthy of humans. I'm going to propose something to you. If we are all creators, and if we go to the dictionary definition of creator, or God, what you will see is that God is a creator. And I'm not talking about the religion or the religious terminology. I'm talking about what a God would be, and that's a creator. And so I would present to you that if we are all creators, then we are, in effect, gods in embryo. we have that ability to create that which we can envision and have faith to step forward. Some interesting data out of some research that was done in Japan and the United States about companies that have very good and very bad idea systems. In the United States, every typical idea that is put forth into an idea system generates about $491 of return, meaning they can save a company $491 for every idea. In a high idea generating system, every idea actually only has $2.50 worth of value to a company. But here's the kicker. In those $491 idea companies, for every idea, you get less than one per employee. Less than one. And in those high idea generating companies, you have over 33 per employee. Participation rates for the poor companies, 9%. That means all of your creators in embryo, only 9% feel it beneficial to present something that they think is going to be worked on. In those other companies, it's 87%. 87% of the people who put themselves in that suggestion box are participating because they feel that return on their idea. Now, I challenge you to find anywhere, anytime, where there's an 87% participation rate. And why is that? Because people feel that return. People feel that value. I have a line there, and I have changed the world on top of it. And the reason I have that is because we are surrounded by lines, and lines mean borders, and borders are things we don't cross. But I would challenge you that we have to let people that work for us and with us cross lines, often. I remember when I was working in Japan in particular, there was an opportunity where we had a big factory, and there was a bunch of things that we would ship out to Mazda in particular. And we noticed that things didn't fit in trucks right. There was some empty space, and we didn't get all the value that we wanted. And we started to re-engineer the racks, and we started to re-engineer the forklifts, and we looked at re-engineering the trucks. And we did this for about 3 or 4 months. And finally, one of my team members, who was just sitting out there, he was looking at the warehouse, and he said, why don't we just move that line 5 feet? Because there's a line on the floor that dictated how many racks would go into a truck. And he said, why don't we just move it 5 feet and turn the racks 180 degrees? And it's too simple. It doesn't work. But guess what we did? We moved the line 5 feet, turned the racks 180 degrees, added 3 more racks, and they fit perfectly. All we did was listen to the simple. All we did was step over the line. Ladies and gentlemen, so as we begin on this journey to really take in all of these ideas that we are exposed to, we're not going to know which way to turn. Every time I start this discussion out with people, they don't know where to turn because it's not natural yet in most industries and in most government organizations. What we have to do is a couple of things. Number one, if you're a politician or a manager, you have to not worry about your own legacy. This is not, nor ever was it, about you. This is about allowing people that are creative to become creative. This is about people that want to work, not only to work, but to create. Nobody comes to work. They should all want to come to work to create. And so you don't know where to turn. It's scary. There's sand everywhere. It's a desert. If you walk that way, you're going to die of thirst. If you walk that way, you're going to die of thirst. If you walk that way, you're going to die of thirst. But there's a few ways to do it. Number one, get rid of your thoughts of your own legacy. Number two, ask for the ideas, and you will get them. List them up. Start implementing them. Do them quickly. I warn you, once you ask your people, or people that you work with, or if you're in government, the people that you represent, or if you're in management, the people that work for you, once you begin to ask them for ideas, the faucet, the tap, will not be able to turn off. And I only warn you because if you do not begin to action those ideas, they will stop. It's a challenge. It's a real big challenge. There are ways to do it, and I would suggest to you to, no matter what industry you're in, look for companies and organizations and governments that do it well. There's no reason on earth why an oil company shouldn't head down to Silicon Valley and see how they implement ideas. There's no reason on earth why a government organization shouldn't look to Toyota to learn how to process things better. I cannot tell you how many times in Alberta, in particular, I am told to leave Japan and all the learnings that I learned there out of the conversation because people think it's threatening. True story. And yet, why is that? There are ideas out there. I put myself out there. My people that work for me, that work with me, put themselves out there. And that's really what they're putting in the toolbox, in the suggestion boxes themselves. Once we realize that no ideas are scary, borders can be crossed, that people are really creators in embryo, or dare I say gods in embryo, only then do we realize that when the faucet turns on and the ideas flow, that we can create an oasis. We can really create some fun stuff, fun things. And we've heard today nothing but ideas and things to change this city and this province in particular. And I want to mention a few words to you. Anytime you have somebody say, what if? What if we did this? Or what if we did that? Recognize it for what it is. It is their creative power and faith in action. That's what that is. Recognize those words in particular. What if we? And we heard a bunch of it today. All right. It's fun times. It's really fun times. So does anybody know where this quote came from? It's a couple of weeks old. So Marissa Mayer, CEO of Yahoo, purchased Tumblr. Does anybody know what Tumblr is? Some of you might use Tumblr. What is Tumblr? It's a blogging platform. It's simply a platform to allow people to put their ideas out there. That's all that Tumblr is. Do you know who developed Tumblr? He was 17 at the time, dropped out of school. His name is David Karp, and he made $217 million from the sale of Tumblr when he sold it to Yahoo. Now, this is Marissa Mayer's quote, and she quoted it to the world after she, a seasoned veteran of the IT industry, bought this company. A seasoned veteran who runs a multi-billion-dollar company bought Tumblr from this young man, 27 years old, David Karp. And she said to him, we promise not to screw it up. Ladies and gentlemen, our challenge is to recognize people and their ideas and give them a return on those ideas because they are truly God in embryo. The value of a human being is their ability to create, and everybody has the innate ability to create. And if we recognize that and take it for what it is, which is everything, then we won't screw it up. Thank you.